Good morning, everyone. How's it going? Good morning, good morning. You guys ready for a good day? Today is going to be an interesting one. We got more tariff stuff going on. I don't know if any of you guys watch X. Trump posted something about, I think 7 more countries are like coming to decisions today. We don't know which countries, we don't know what time. So we're going to be ready for it. Other than that, there's no news other than FOMC meeting minutes at, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something like that. So hopefully we'll be done trading by then. But as of now, last time I looked, there wasn't anything else. I mean, crude oil inventories, which could have a little bit of an effect, but it shouldn't affect us too much unless you're trading oil. Trump has a lunch at 11 o'clock Central, noon. So some announcements could go on then too. So definitely be careful around that time. Be careful in general today. You never know what kind of tweets are going to come up. For sure. Well, we are coming up to yesterday's high. I'm actually sitting in a trade in a combine right now. I just took a little trade earlier. I've been scaling out. I have a limit order here at previous day high and then fully out at just under 23K if we get there. But I'm trailing my stop pretty tight. Let's zoom out and see what we got. So honestly, just a lot of like choppy consolidation, not a whole lot of movement until really this last 4 hours or so. But we are making new highs. If we break above yesterday's high, then definitely looking for longs today. We're above all of yesterday's value areas. We're above VWAP. Unless the market just opens with a big old dump, then I think we're looking for longs today. So possibly some sort of pullback entry long. We do have this area here where we haven't really retested the Asia high, which is kind of right in line with the point of control. And it's also right in line with VWAP. So I could see where this would be a pretty good area for a pullback if we go that far. I mean, that's a pretty big drop. But that'd be a spot to watch reactions if we get a pullback and see if we can go long from there. But yeah, I think that's what I'm looking for with the open today is some sort of pullback to enter long unless something changes. But looking at this visible range volume profile, you can tell that this whole area was like big choppy consolidation since Friday, really. You can see all that volume and we've broken above it. So if we can stay above that, really if we can stay above 907, I think longs are the play today. It'll be interesting to see how high we go though, or if tariff news just messes all of that game plan up. You never know. $101 orders up at 23K though, so we'll see if this trade that I'm sitting in right now gets up there. I'm scaling out at previous day high and then fully out at 23K if we get up there. Did anyone take any trades last night or this morning? Or is New York session going to be your first trades for the day? Waiting for the pullback to go long. Awesome. 2 attempts in London, basically break even for the day. Well, that's good that your risk management was good. I have a question for you guys in the chat. Do any of you journal? Like, not just normal trade journaling where you mark like your entries and exits and your strategy and all that stuff, but do any of you guys journal like your emotions pre-market? Like how you're feeling? If there's something else going on in your life that's like causing stress or anxiety that you feel like might affect your trading, or if like yesterday was a red day, so you're coming into today with like fear, or just any of those emotions. Do any of you guys journal pre-market? Emotional journaling? I'm curious to see if any of you guys do that. Yeah. I've always like checked my emotions and kind of just mentally like gone through the game plan, but over the last couple months I've actually been like journaling it and like writing it down. It's helped a lot. It's helped me kind of just like, I don't know, just be more present with how I'm feeling and like remind myself that I am a good trader and I'm gonna follow my game plan and just all that stuff that sometimes if you just rush to the desk and mark your levels, then you forget about some of that stuff. So if you guys don't do something like that, add it to your pre-market game plan, other than in addition to the normal like checking news and checking levels and stuff. I think it's important. It also allows you to identify trends in your emotions. Like if you didn't sleep well last night, or if you're stressed from work or something else going on, you can kind of identify if those turn out to be losing days, then maybe you size down on those days or don't trade on those days or whatever. Paul, you should do that. Did you find it helpful when you did do it with Forex trading? All right, 2 minutes till market open. Susie, you put it all in OneNote, like a computer template. I like writing. When I'm doing like journaling or like something that I really want to learn, like when I was in college, I would write my notes with a pen and paper rather than like bringing a tablet and typing it. I just absorb things so much better when I write things down. One minute. All right, that target hit. Let's see if it goes up to 23K. Market's open. Cool. Hit my target in my combine. That was fun. Yeah, I did take that. It was a combine that I was doing just because it was a pre-market trade. So that was the account that I just took it in. I show the executions. Yeah. That's where it was. Entered all the way back down here at 22,894. And then kind of just scaled out. Took some off there, added a little bit more there, took some off there, took some off at previous day high, and then full out at 22,900. Definitely a bullish open, man. All right. Now we sit and wait for a pullback. Holy cow. Oh, I'm still on the 15-minute chart. Whoa, my dot is big. Now that I'm zoomed in. I'm craving McDonald's. What do I do? That's funny. Well, are you like trying to lose weight and avoid McDonald's? Or do you not care? If you don't care, go get McDonald's. My goodness. Please give us a pullback. Please come back. You're in a cut. Cuts are hard. Like if you're doing a full-on like calorie deficit and like only eating like lean protein and fruits and vegetables, then if that's the kind of cut that you're in, then you're just gonna have to suck it up, honestly. That's the best advice I can give you. It's not super helpful, but yeah, you just have to know that you're gonna have cravings. It's helpful to distract yourself, like go on walks or like organize your closet or organize your garage, like clean your house, just stay busy. If you're sitting around doing nothing, then you're going to think about how you want McDonald's and you want chocolate cake. So distract yourself and stay busy. All right. Waiting for a pullback. If we can come, I know with such a bullish open, this is a big ask, but if we can come back down here to like value area high or VWAP, that would be a nice entry for a long. Kind of zooming out a little bit, we do have this one wick up here at 23.25, and then a little bit of a resistance here at like 23.50-ish. So let's see if we get some sort of pullback in one of these areas. But right now, she's looking strong. Did anyone enter a FOMO long? Just riding the momentum, jumping in, see what you can get? Don't lie. I know someone did. I know someone's in along. Oh, the Patriot Painter. You jumped in on that momentum. There you go. You're not trading the AM because of FOMC later. I'm not terribly concerned about that. Just because it's only the minutes. It's not like Powell's speaking or there's a rate decision or something like that. And it doesn't seem like it's affecting volume this morning yet, at least. I'm more worried about all the tariff stuff. Apparently there's like 7 more countries that are supposed to have a decision announcement today, and there's nothing that's like officially on the calendar. So we don't know when it's going to happen. Like, when is Trump going to tweet, or when are they going to have some press conference about it? That's more what I'm worried about. Waiting patiently. Good job, Susie. That's what I'm doing. I'm not worried. Honestly, I've been screwed enough on opening drives like this where I just try to jump in and ride the momentum, and then it just as fast as this moved up, it just as fast dumps down, and then all of a sudden I'm down a couple $100 and I don't even know what happened to me. Like, that scenario that I just described has happened way too many times, that more than I would like to admit. And I think I've just been punched in the face enough that I'm like, well, I should probably stop doing that. So that, combined with the fact that I know there's so many opportunities in the market, like there's always another trade that I can wait for. So I don't have FOMO in these kind of situations. We'll get some sort of pullback. We'll get some sort of rejection. All is good. Well, while we're waiting for an entry, guys, if you haven't already, go hit that like button. I would appreciate it. It definitely helps as I'm trying to grow my little channel, new to all this. So far, this is our 15-minute opening range, but I'm guessing this line's going to keep moving up. Where is all-time high? Right here at 23,101. Is today going to be a new all-time high kind of day? Is that what it's going to be? I wonder. I guess some of that's going to depend on what the tariff announcements are later. Is it going to be good news or bad news? I don't know. Still moving up. Not a single red candle, even on the 1 minute chart. I want to see what that 15-minute candle looks like. Oh man. Look at that 15-minute candle. Straight up. Hitting my little baby gray zone here. So if you guys have been following me enough, you know that I use visible range volume profile. So this gray shaded area is a region I marked off on the higher time frame. But full disclaimer is that's right at all-time highs. So there's not a whole lot of volume right there. So I'm not putting a whole lot of weight on this resistance zone. Imagine if I left one contract open. Yep. That's all right. I'm getting better at handling not having FOMO, not being greedy. I'm okay with what I got. Are we gonna get a red 1 minute candle? Is it coming? 30 seconds left. Oh, we got a red candle, our first one. Oh man. Right at my gray shaded area. Boom. Like I said, I'm not putting a whole lot of weight on that zone because it's at all-time highs. There was only like 1 day of trading at that level. Just a little tiny chop area. So it was that right there. It just made that tiny little volume node that sticks out. That's why I marked it. But it's not like it was days of trading, which is where I normally find my levels. So normally I would use that as a way to watch for shorts, but I'm not doing that today. Definitely not a morning to be trying to short the top, in my opinion. Looking for a pullback to enter long. That's what I want. And I'm gonna wait for it. In the meantime, for anyone who did jump in on this momentum, I'll clap for you. Wasn't in my trading plan, but good for you. 2 minutes left until the 15-minute opening range is set, and then maybe we can take some trades off of that. What is Bookmap doing? 85 orders up at 23,100, which is right at all-time high. And then quite a few orders up above at like 23,275. Most of the big orders are up today. So yeah, let's see if we can get a little pullback and then ride this baby up. Good morning, B Frosty. Good morning, G-Man. Welcome back. The train left the station without us, or without me. I didn't want to jump in on that FOMO. So I'm waiting for a pullback, trying to find a spot to enter long. Yeah. What an open. So the 15-minute range is set. We're starting to get a little candle outside of it. Let's see if this is going to be a fake out and we get a bigger pullback, or if this is just going to keep going straight up. I don't want to be faked out, so I'm going to be patient here. We are sitting right at all-time highs. If I was to enter, I'd put my stop right below at 48, 23.48. So that's still a 30-point stop loss. I don't love that. I'd love to see something more like coming down to anchored VWAP and then up. I just hope we get something to pull back and this doesn't just keep going straight up and we miss it. You gave in with your McDonald's craving. Oh no. Don't do it. So far it's holding above. So it doesn't look like it's going to be a fake out at this point. The reason I'm not jumping in on a long is I don't feel like we have a clear support, like structure for a stop loss. I feel like the risk to reward just wouldn't be that great because I would probably put my stop all the way down here. That's 36 points. And then there's not a clear like structure for a profit target either because we're kind of just at all-time highs and you'd be guessing for where it was headed. So I feel like, longs are definitely the play. It's just a matter of where do we put our stop loss, where do we put our target? That's what's holding me back right now. And then if we zoom out to the higher time frames, there's tons of like fair value gaps and spots where we could pull back. Also, it looks like momentum is slowing down a little bit. So I'll be patient and hope that it pulls back a little bit. If not, then I'll wait for the next trade. Come down a little bit. Bring it on down. Or just go straight up to all-time highs. That's an option too. Gosh dang it. Man. You guys, I hate all-time high trading. Anyone else feel the same way? The last 2 weeks, this has not been my favorite trading. Brian, there's the FOMO kicking in. Yeah. I don't know if you were talking about yourself or me, but yeah, I feel it. Waiting for a pullback. And when we had this 1 minute closure above, in my mind, I was thinking like, we could just enter long, but where do I put my stop loss? Like that was the rational brain and me thinking. But now that it just continued up, I'm like, well, dang, I should have just jumped in long. It did break out of the 15-minute opening range. Yep, I'm having those thoughts too. You're not wrong. In times like these, I have to remind myself there's always another trade. There's always another opportunity. It's all good. Oh, G-Man took some gold trades last night. Good stuff, good stuff. Are we going to bring it on back? Maybe back to the opening range high? Maybe back to the New York anchored VWAP? Give us a little more of a clear spot for our stop loss. That would be nice. That's what I want. That's what I want. Question for the chat. I love it. How long have you been consistently profitable if you are a consistently profitable trader? Everyone else answer too. So I guess For me, it kind of depends on like, I don't know, what consistently profitable means. Like, are you taking payouts every month, or like, how long are you able to hold a prop firm account before blowing it? I guess there's different ways to like measure profitability. Or it could just be like overall profitability. Like, I have pulled out more in payouts than I have put in towards paying for evals, just over the long run. I guess, what do you mean by like consistently profitable trader? Be Frosty, one day. I've been profitable for one day. I YOLO'd on one day and I was green and then I lost it. So for me, Sasnet, I would say I'm not saying I would say, I am overall a profitable trader if you look at the net of like how much I've paid for prop firm evals and accounts versus what I've taken in payouts. I'm a profitable trader. I wouldn't call myself a consistently profitable trader yet, because I've had months where I've pulled out $12,000 and I've had months where I pulled out $0. So I would like to have it be where like every month at least one payout is being pulled out and like I can feel comfortable paying my bills with this. So I'm not to that point yet. So again, I guess it depends on how you define consistently profitable. I'm getting there though. I feel myself getting better every day, and I know like I've pinpointed my weaknesses and I'm getting a better system with how to handle things. Getting better with the discipline and like the daily actions behind the scenes. So I feel it. I feel it coming. I'm right there. Yep, I can relate to that, G-Man. Haven't been consistent because I still have some tilt moments. You've taken some payouts, but you struggle at times. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, in the long run, if you look at money going out versus money in, profitable, but not consistent yet. My biggest thing is I need to work on keeping my red days small. Like, I know I'm a good trader. I have a good strategy. I read the market well. I know how to mark levels well. When I'm in the zone, I'm a good trader, which I'm sure a lot of us can say. But then I have stupid moments where I just like blow an account and don't follow my rules. So if I can eliminate those days, then man, the sky's the limit. And I'm getting better at it. All right, starting to get a little pullback. Let's see where we pull back to. Are we gonna come to the opening range high? Are we gonna come to VWAP? They're kind of in the same general spot at this point. Or, I mean, if this gets heavy, I could see us just reversing this whole move. There's lots of room down here and VWAP down here, but it doesn't look like it's gonna do that yet. Most of the orders on Bookmap are up. Another thing we can do is put an anchored VWAP at this high of day and see if momentum starts to shift and we break through that. And then we could put our stop loss here below this low. But I'd love to see it pull back a little bit more. Oh, Susie's been consistent for a year now. Look at you. Way to go. I'm going to enter a small long, you guys. Simply because we broke through that anchored VWAP. All of the orders on Bookmap are up. And then we do have a clear stop loss for where I'm going to put my stop. Small position, just because I feel like we're already up so much. Also, don't really have a super clear target above, other than Bookmap orders, because we're in all-time high territory at this point. You're profitable on your own accounts, but not prop accounts? I wonder why that is. You know, just a thought. I mean, I haven't really looked at your trades and your like mental side of things, but I wonder if it's maybe because you're treating the prop firms like internet money, like it's not really your money, so you can gamble a little bit more and take more risk. Because, you know, with a prop firm account, like you blow the account, you only lost $100 or $49 or however much the challenge costs. But if you have a personal account and you have a red tilt day, then that's real money. Like you just lost $1,000 or however much. So there's definitely a little bit of a difference mentally. I can relate to that. Because I know there's times when I'm in pretty big drawdown with a prop firm account and I'm just like, screw it. I'll just gamble today, and then if I blow it, oh well, I'll just buy another one. But you can't really have that attitude with your own personal account. Well, at this point, I'm just gonna kind of, as it moves up and gets into a little bit more profit, I'll probably just trail my stop and then watch Bookmap, because we don't have any resistance ahead. We don't know where it's going. We have lots of orders higher at like 23,175, 23,200. 23,275. But it could definitely, one thing I've learned with how I look at Bookmap is it could obviously pull back before it goes and grabs those orders. So I don't want to count on it going there now. You became a backtesting millionaire 2 weeks ago. Ain't that the truth? If you do like paper trading and you trade like minis and size up and you make like $5,000 on a trade, you're like, I'm gonna be a millionaire. Oh, ain't that the truth? One thing that messed me up with backtesting and why I don't love it is it made me an impatient trader. Because with backtesting, you can like put it on 3x speed or 5x speed and then just pause it when your setup shows itself and then kind of rewind, and you can find 20 setups in an hour. And then you have to sit through the live market and it takes you 2 hours to find one good setup. So it made it hard to be patient. Well, we might not be getting that follow through. It broke through that anchored VWAP and had one little 1 minute candle push, but then it pulled back. Let's see if we get some continuation. Do you know how to use the strategy tester on TradingView? I've never done that. No, I don't know what that is. B Frosty, one thing that has helped me a lot on the topic of backtesting is I actually learned this at a trading boot camp that I went to a couple months ago. Journal the best trade of the day every day. That way you're watching the live market, and whether you took the setup or not, based on your strategy, like if you trade the 15-minute opening range or the initial balance or VWAP or session volume profile, like whatever your strategy is, journal the best trade of the day. Like your perfect A++ setup, what was that trade? And journal it. Like sometimes you take the trade, sometimes you didn't, but you're training your eye to look for that perfect trade, and it allows you to helps you be more patient to look for that and kind of train your eye to figure out what the A+ setups are. I've been doing that for the last couple months since coming back from the boot camp, and that has helped a lot, because then it's like live action back testing, I guess. So try that out and see if that helps you. Well, I don't feel good about this anymore. Momentum's kind of slowing down a little bit. All the orders are still up on Bookmap, so I'm pretty sure it's going higher. It's just a matter of how far is it going to pull back before it heads higher. All right. Looks like it's coming back further. What was my entry? So I can mark it 97.25. kind of playing around with this all-time high. Is it going to keep going? I don't use Edgeful. No. I've just heard people throwing around stats like, what is it, like 67% of the time, both edges of the 15-minute opening range are tested. I don't know. There's stats for like, if there's a failed auction, then this percentage of the time it'll hit the 50% mark, or this percentage of the time it'll go all the way to the other end of the range. So it seems like helpful info, but no, I don't use it. I don't know what else it offers other than like the range breaks and stuff. What other stats? Like, what is it saying right now? Or what would be useful right now? Give us the juice, G-Man. We still have 20 minutes until the initial balance is set. Initial balance failed auction trades make me nervous though with all-time highs. Because like a failed auction on the upside would be taking a short. I don't want to short all-time highs. So that seems a little risky. Unless for whatever reason it just dumps down to the bottom of the initial balance and we can take a long off of that. That's a possibility. Well, it made a new all-time high and then kind of just stopped. So I wonder if it's gonna reject or if it's just gaining steam to jump to the sky. Putting a few limit orders in just based on what I see on Bookmap, but really this is unknown territory. And I don't even know if it's going to keep going higher or if it's going to pull back. No idea. It feels like walking in the dark with all-time highs. Absolutely. It sure does. One thing I know for sure, though, I don't want to short it. I don't want to short it. I know a couple people in the chat were saying that they got in long at the market open. I'm curious if any of you guys are still holding longs from back there, or if you guys got fully out. It just slowed down. What is going on? Stat showing 83%. It'll go to 154.75 if it breaks the initial balance. G-Man said it. It's going to 154. Well, Bookmap says that too. That's why my first target is at 149, just below that 150 mark. I think that's probably why I don't use Edgeful or a lot of things, really. One thing I've noticed is there's so many different indicators and tools that you can use, and most of them just kind of overlap Confluence, which I guess is good because then it gives you confidence that, like, I see that 150 is the target here and I also see it here, so that must be a good target, just as an example. But I also feel like sometimes it can be too much information. So for me at least, I try to keep things simple. Using it with stats on the initial balance. I could see where that would be helpful. Does it tell you, like, live? Like right now, based on current price action, it's telling you? And will it tell you, like, if there's a chance that it'll break to the downside or break to the upside? Is it telling you that kind of stuff? The trading non-negotiable mindset book I was reading, that in that video was Trading in the Zone. Mark Douglas, Trading in the Zone. That's one of my favorites. I'm also currently reading Anchored VWAP or AVWAP by Brian Shannon. That's another one. So those are the two that are kind of my daily reads. But I've read a lot of different ones. The Mental Game of Trading is another one. The Best Loser Wins. That's a really good book if you haven't read that already. Oh man, where is it gonna go? It's really just chopping around this now. Originally entered that long because it gained momentum. It had a good strong close above that anchored VWAP. But then volume just died. Now it looks like it's coming back down, or at least it wants to. So did we have that little push at market open and now we're just going to chop around and have low volume until FOMC? Is that what's going on? Or is this kind of just putting everyone to sleep and then we're just going to bust out to the upside and make new all-time highs for the rest of the day? I don't like it. We do have New York anchored VWAP is sitting right at the 15-minute opening range high. So it looks like it might come down to there, but I don't want to adjust my stop loss. That stopped me out. Stopped me out. Now it's bouncing off that VWAP, which was right at 15-minute opening range. Getting a tiny little bump in volume on that 1-minute candle. But man, buyers are taking a break for sure. How do I incorporate it into daily practice? Read a few pages a day, skim highlights. I just spend at least 10 minutes a day. If I have more time, then I'll read more, but my commitment is 10 minutes a day. And I just do it daily. And I don't skim highlights. I read the full thing. With those kind of books, I kind of treat it like a college textbook. Like I have a highlighter, I take notes, make notes about things that are like really stand out to me, or like, oh, I need to work on that, or like in the anchored VWAP one, like, oh, I need to try that out and backtest that, or add that to my charts. So I usually don't get through a ton of pages in 10 minutes just because I'm like really trying to learn it. It's definitely a different approach than like just reading a for fun book, you know. All right, move that anchored VWAP. Now we're kind of getting a price pinch. So if we're going to break below this 15-minute opening range high, which is also the New York anchored VWAP, then we could possibly look for shorts, although I don't love that with the momentum we've had today and an all-time high day. And then if we break above this VWAP with some momentum, we could be continuing longs, which would be a nice bounce off of this VWAP with continuation higher. So that's a possibility too. All right, chat, tell me what you're doing. You guys still being patient, waiting for a pullback to enter long? You guys think we're gonna dump? What are we doing? What's the plan? Point of control is at 23.57. You're looking at today's point of control. Oh, the point of control from when we made an all-time high. B Frosty just going to a whole different instrument. Not a bad idea. Whenever the word FOMC is in the news, it just doesn't work out for me. Yep. We're getting a little bounce off of this spot, which there's some confluence there for sure. Anchored New York VWAP and 15-minute opening range high. I just don't love how things have slowed down so much. I'm curious to look at what Next was talking about. Yeah, so this is the day we made that last all-time high, and that point of control is right at 23.60. Which makes sense. That's decent confluence for, 15-minute opening range high, New York anchored VWAP. Kind of fill in this fair value gap on this 1 minute candle if you're a fair value gap trader. Definitely some confluence for that level. Gonna see how it reacts here. Wait for this candle closure. See if we get continuation up or down. Well, dang. That was an interesting move. I said we were getting a price pinch. If we broke below this VWAP, we could be going lower, but that just went. Definitely don't want to enter on that short FOMO. We're going to retrace this whole move. Come back down to the session VWAP. 22,987. Now that we got some good volume down and we broke that New York VWAP, I wouldn't be opposed to a short if we get a little bit of a pullback up to the 15-minute opening range high and then possibly short down to the overnight VWAP. I'm not opposed to that, but I don't want to enter short from here. because then I feel like I'd be chasing it. So initial balance is pretty much set at this point. Here's the 60-minute high. A month ago, you'd be pursuing that move like the plague. Yeah. Like I was saying earlier with the New York Open just skyrocketing and me missing out on it, after being slapped in the face way too many times chasing moves like this, I've learned my lesson. Because I would have had to, like, if I entered, where did my short position tool go? Got off of my favorites. What the heck? So if I had entered, I was here is where I would have entered short. I would have to put my stop loss all the way up there. And then with how fast it moved down, it could have just come right back up. That could have just been a fake out. And I would have lost $200 in a minute. So there's so much opportunity. Like, yeah, I could say, dang, I should have gotten in short. I should have chased it. But another time, I could have taken a loss. And there's so much opportunity. Like I said, I can wait for the pullback and then enter long. Or if it comes down to VWAP and bounces, I can enter long there. So many. There's always another trade, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Always another opportunity. I don't have financial juice up. Is something going on? I don't see anything. But I have the delayed feed, so something could be coming up later. All right, so now that we do have our initial balance set, here's the 60-minute low. Here's VWAP. We could definitely be watching for some sort of failed action here. Some sort of bounce off the initial balance low. Maybe some sort of liquidity grab. Maybe come down to like 22,960. Or we could bounce off of this VWAP right here. So far, we're holding VWAP. I'm going to wait until we come back down and retest initial balance low and see how things react. We do have some orders down at 22,975, which is right at initial balance low. $22,975 and $22,970. So somewhere in this region, if it comes back down here and bounces. This could be a little fake bounce off of VWAP and then one more pull down to grab some liquidity before the real bounce back up. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Hope I don't miss it. Come back down to initial balance low. Come on. I still don't see anything on financial juice. Did I miss something, you guys? What was that? Trump's president. You missed a lot of things. Oh. Yeah, maybe I should pull up my X and watch his tweets or X's, whatever they call them, instead of financial juice. That's where we're really going to find out where the market volatility is if Trump tweets. Crude oil inventories were at, 9:30. That's now. I'm surprised that it's affecting NQ so much, though. I didn't think it normally did. All right. Coming down to initial balance low. I'm really glad that I was patient on that VWAP bounce. I was feeling a little bit of FOMO there, but I'm glad I waited. Now let's see how it reacts to this initial balance low. If it starts to close back within initial balance, this could be a failed auction. Close back within initial balance low and get back above VWAP. That would be solid. Trump insists Fed has left interest rates 3 percentage points too high. Yeah, I feel like Trump and Powell have this little battle going on. I'm doing it, you guys. I'm anticipating a failed auction. Only took 3 contracts. I could potentially add to the position if we get confirmation that we're closing within the range and we get back above VWAP. I think I would feel better about adding at that point. 986.75 is my entry. Getting a pretty good bounce here. I feel like for me, the risk to reward was decent. We just need to get back above VWAP. That's the biggest thing. If we get continuation higher and maybe a good close above VWAP, I can add. But there's still a lot of jumping around, so I don't want to add yet since my stop loss is still 24 points. And I would have to keep my stop loss there if I added. So I don't feel comfortable adding yet until I have a spot where I can move my stop loss up to reduce risk. So far, so good. Definitely getting a good buy up here. A lot of those orders that were higher on Bookmap at like 23,200, 23,175, a lot of those got taken off. So I wonder if we're going lower, or I don't know, maybe the orders will get put back on. We'll see. We got that one good bounce, but we're not getting continuation. Yeah, Sasmit, that's a good question. How do you use Bookmap since the orders can be taken off at any point? How do you rely on it? So, for one, I ignore the huge orders. Like, if there's just something out of place and there's like 300 orders at a certain number, I ignore those because that's probably some like bot that just put orders there to kind of drive price, and a lot of times those get removed. If it's a more reasonable order, like something around 80 or 100 or something that seems like actually realistic, those orders a lot of times get grabbed. And what I personally do is I'll kind of front run it. So I'll do my own analysis first, and I'll decide like if I want to enter a long or a short, and then I kind of just use Bookmap as like confluence for my targets. So it's way down on my list of confluences. I look at Bookmap like number 5 out of everything that I look at. So I'll look at price action first, and I'll mark my levels and my targets based on what I see on the charts. And then if I go over and look at Bookmap, like let's say I wanted to ride this thing back to VWAP, the New York Anchor VWAP, which is around like 23.43. Let's say that's what I was targeting. And then I go over and look at Bookmap and there's a bunch of orders at like 23.40. Then that would kind of just give me a little bit more confidence or confluence that the number I was looking at might be a good target. And then a lot of times I'll front run it too. So what I mean by that is, like, let's say for example, right now there's 107 orders at 23,012, which is like right here. Not very high, honestly. So if I was targeting that, like if I thought it would go up there, I would target a little bit lower, like maybe 23,008. Because sometimes big orders like that on Bookmap can end up being resistance and it doesn't quite grab it immediately. So those are ways I use Bookmap, mostly just as confluence for a target that I've already like figured out for myself based on the chart that I'm looking at. All right, so we got that good push higher. We're pulling back a little bit, but we're still hovering around initial balance low, holding it for now. If we do get another good push higher and we break above this 23,008 level, I think we're good. But I don't know, not feeling super confident about it right now since we did have that move back. I hope that answers your question, Sasmit. I don't, honestly, I don't use bookmaps super well. It's not a strong, like, high level of confluence for me, or high thing on my list. Because I know there's people that look at like Delta and CVD and all that stuff. I don't do any of that. I haven't researched any of that, so I don't understand it well enough to actually use it. And I don't have the paid version. I just found someone who streams it for free on YouTube, so I just kind of have it up on the background. I do look at the heat map too, if you're familiar with how it looks, the chart on the left. Like if there's a whole bunch of red up and down below price action is just black, that kind of gives me an indication that longs are the play. And then same, the reverse is true too. If like all of the heat map is down and up is black, then we're probably going short. So I use it that way too. But again, it's low on my list. I'll look at price action first and then just use that as confirmation. G-Man, are you in the chat? What is Edgeful saying? Are we going to get a failed auction here? Are we going higher? I know it doesn't tell you that stuff exactly. But statistically speaking, am I in a good position? I try to use no indicators at all personally, but the best thing about trading, everything works and everything doesn't. Depends on us. 100%. That's the truth right there. Yeah, I agree with the indicator thing. Although I mean, obviously I have some indicators on my chart, but the more I trade, the more experienced I become, the less I try to rely on indicators. And most of mine are based on volume, like VWAP and visible range volume profile and session volume profile. Dang, you guys. Oh, man. Failed action was not the play. This is wild, you guys. We made a new all-time high and then we just dumped. Well, now we're below VWAP. We're below the initial balance low. How low are we going, man? This is interesting. I did, Be Frosty. That was on a Top Step account. I entered back here at 893, 894-ish, and then rode it all the way up to 23,000, which was, I actually have it over here. So entered here and then scaled out a little bit, added, scaled out, and then got fully out at 23,990. Yeah. That can make me feel a little bit better about this today at the New York Open. Man. This is wild, you guys. We had that crazy open where it was just like up only, made a new all-time high, and then we just dumped. I'm a little confused, honestly. So I think at this point, I'm going to be waiting for maybe a liquidity grab. So if it comes down to like this level where we have a decent amount of volume traded here, and we get a bounce and maybe a closure back within the initial balance low, we could go for longs. Or if we come back up to initial balance low and VWAP area and reject, we could look for shorts. Just kind of gonna look for a reaction at one of my levels. Weird day, man. There's tons of lows down there. We can easily clear them all. Yep. I mean, now I guess shorts are the play since we're below the initial balance low. We're below VWAP. It's just so weird to flip like that. All right. Let's see if we get a bounce back up to initial balance low, VWAP area, and then sellers show up and really reject that level. Then, I mean, shorts could be what we need to look for. We have lots of levels lower we can go to if that's what we're doing. Or we could still potentially get a failed auction. What is if we zoom out a little bit? That's a nasty 30-minute candle. We still have 5 minutes left until this 30-minute candle closes though. And this is that chop zone that I was talking about from all the way from like Friday through now. That's a really high volume area. So I could see where this would be a spot for a bounce. So not a bad idea for a long, if we get a good bounce here and we close back with an initial balance low within the next 4 minutes and 40 seconds. A lot of it depends on how this candle closes though. Still looks like it's going down. Doesn't look like buyers want to defend this yet. Sasmin, I was talking about the heat map on Bookmap. There's nothing now. There's a little bit up at like 23, 25, but in terms of the heat map, there's not much orange. All of those orders up higher at like all-time highs got taken off, and now it's just dark up there. It's interesting how quickly things changed. We got 21 people watching. We have 12 likes. If you guys haven't already, go hit that like button. I'd appreciate it. It helps a lot. More than you think. Well, dang. This 30-minute candle, there's no signs of buyers. This green anchored VWAP is from the previous all-time high. I guess I can remove that one. That's not right anymore. We are coming down to a couple of levels. And this gold one is the start of the week VWAP. The white one is yesterday's anchored VWAP. And then we have this high volume node that we're coming up to. So it's not a bad spot for a bounce. We just don't have buyers showing up yet. Thanks, Sasmit. I appreciate it. All those people who went long, they took profits. No one has stop orders below those lows? Yeah. Man. I zoomed out to the 30-minute thinking that maybe we'd get a bounce. But no. This is just down, down, down. Strong bearish close on that 30-minute. We are dumping. So since we're zoomed out to this 30-minute, we do have this big candle that was back at 4 a.m. my time, Central Time. There is a little fair value gap right there, which is right in line with point of control. So if we continue dumping, that could be a spot. But again, this is a big high volume node. Price tends to want to return to that, and then it can be a spot for support. So wouldn't be surprised if we bounce. Although after that 30-minute candle, I don't know if I want a long right now until we get some confirmation of it. Pretty wild. Did anyone catch that short? I most definitely did not, because to be totally honest, I don't like shorting all-time highs. So I wasn't even thinking shorts. I was looking for a pullback to enter long, and then it just dumped without me, so I missed it. But I'm curious, anyone else get along? Or a short, I mean. Man, I'm still thinking longs. Like, I was watching that 30-minute closure. This big high volume area, good spot to return to and have it be support. And then we have, like I said, yesterday's anchored VWAP and the start of the week anchored VWAPs coming down to a good level. I'm considering a long, but that was a big 30-minute dump. Just eating your Big Mac and watching. That's funny. Yeah. So if I did enter a long from here, the stop loss would be 22 points. Not bad. All right. I'm going to do it. I'm going long, you guys. I'm doing it. 950 was my entry. It'll be interesting to see if we can break through this initial balance low and VWAP though. That'll be the big test. I liked it though because of so much support right here. In my opinion, I feel like it would have to be a news driven event to break through this on one strong candle, because that's a lot of support. And with that being such a big drop, I feel like we'll at least get a little bit of a bounce. That's just my thought and reasoning behind trying along here. Definitely could be wrong. Going against the trend a little bit. Going against the fact that we're below the initial balance low and below VWAP. So could be a bad idea. Sasmin, are you still eating your Big Mac? That was like an hour ago that you said you gave in to your cravings and you went and got one. It's got to be cold by now. Oh, you ordered your food, but it's raining, so it came in late. So it was like a delivery, like an Uber Eats type of thing. Come on. We got a decent little bounce here, but no continuation. I'm wondering if the fact that we have FOMC meeting minutes coming out, that might be why we're dumping. Well, that's not going how I thought it would. I have never heard of those. You have multiple apps and you rarely use Uber Eats. You have Zomato or Swiggy. Where do you live? Where are you from, Sasmit? Never heard of either one of those. How do I keep pronouncing things perfectly? I don't know. Oh, that's right, India. I wasn't sure on Zomato because it looks like tomato but with a Z, so it could be Zomato. But that sounded too country. It sounded like I'm from Texas, so that sounded like Zomato. Like you'd have to put a little Texas swing on that. So I said Zomato. It sounds cooler. Well, it didn't stop me out. So is this going to be a little double bottom? I just realized I don't have my chart on there for you guys. There it is. So it came down like right to my entry, but it didn't stop me out. Going against the trend though. I don't feel like this is going to be a bounce to the moon. This might even be too big of a target. I was just thinking New York VWAP, but we do have initial balance low and VWAP going against that, which is not usually a good idea. I just liked how much support we had on that visible range volume profile. Bounced at a good area. So that was my reasoning. I can relate to that, Sasnet. The last 2 weeks have been difficult for me too in terms of like actual trading profits. But it's been good for me in terms of like taking a step back and really like reevaluating some of my processes and my discipline, and like reminding myself of some of my non-negotiables, like taking time away from the charts and recharging and journaling every single trade, getting myself mentally prepared pre-market. I was kind of in a spot where I was rushing because I have the kids at home over the summer, and I could tell that I was just like jumping into the charts on my computer immediately, and I wasn't doing some of my like pre-market journaling and mental prep that I normally do. So it has been a good 2 weeks with that. Like having so many losses, it's forced me to take a step back and kind of calm down, reevaluate, remind myself that I do know what I'm doing. I'm not trading. I was gambling on some of those days. So yeah, it's been a good reminder to step back. Hey, Min, how's it going? That's what growth sounds like. Yep. Listening to Mark Douglas videos pre-market, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, man, this is weird. I took a good long pre-market, got out at 23K, made some good profit there. But since then, weird how it made an all-time high. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to short this. And then it just dumps all the way back down to below the initial balance low. So man, I'll tell you why I got into this long. I actually was using the visible range volume profile. Just looking at all that volume right there, just thinking that that would be a decent spot for support. Not looking for it to go that high, but thought we'd get a little bit of a bounce. Not looking like we're going to get it. When I zoom out too on this 30-minute, I mean, that was a big bearish candle. But I thought we'd at least get a little bit of support here and some sort of bounce. It's just not happening. You saw the longs, didn't take it. Probably smart. I took a loss on this long right here. Was doing the initial balance filled auction play. It came down, it wicked below and had a decent buy up. So it took a small position long, but we dumped back below. If this continues lower and stops me out, I'm going to be done today. Because at this point, I don't know how much lower it's going. And with that crazy bullish open and then dump, I can feel myself like flipping back and forth. Like, are we going to go long, short? I don't know. And I don't want to be in that situation. I've never been to offline trading boot camps. How has your experience been with them? Are you talking about the one that I went to a couple months ago that I was talking about? Sasmit? Is that what you mean? Well, there it goes. Stop me out. Interesting day, you guys. I'm guessing it has to do with all the tariff announcements coming out today and FOMC later this afternoon. Some of this is news driven for sure. Sasmin, if you're talking about the boot camp that I went to a couple months ago, it was really good. I enjoyed it. They went over all kinds of different stuff. So they went over like some strategies. There were people talking about VWAP and like visible range volume profile. Lots of different strategies were talked about. They also talked about some of the mental like growth aspects of trading. And it was really cool too, I think, just to meet real people. Because, you know, this is a lonely business. We sit at our computers alone and trade. It was cool to see real people making real money. It kind of just made it more real for me. Because online, you know, you follow the influencers and they're making millions of dollars a year and they're all driving like Ferraris and stuff, and it just seems so like far-fetched and out there. And for me, it's a lifestyle I don't even relate to. Like, I don't want to have $3 million mansions and like 10 cars sitting in my garage. That's just, it's not something that I want. So it's hard to relate to that. So going to the boot camp and seeing real people that are making like regular money and just having regular time freedom, which is what I want. Like, you know, people that trade for 2 hours a day and they pull like $15,000 a month out of the market. I'm like, oh, I want that. So it was cool to just kind of have it be real. That was probably the biggest thing I got out of it. But I've only been to that one boot camp. So I don't have any other experiences to share. All right, you guys. We're hitting that lower volume part of the day and FOMC coming up later. And me not having a good read on the market right now. So I think I'm going to call it here. But come back tomorrow. I'll be here at Market Open. Hope to see you guys there. If you haven't already, before you hop off, go hit that like button. It helps me out a lot. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. See ya, Min. Thanks for coming. Bye, guys.